everybody, and welcome back to Movie Files. And as you can see from the title of this video, this is our top 10 movies of 2018. We're not saying these are the best movies, but they were our favorite movies of the year 2018. So if you're not familiar with our format, check out our last year's video. But if you're not familiar with it, we do our honorable mentions first, and then I'm going to have Morgan do her 10 through 6. Same thing for me. So we're going to jump right into this. Before we do that, guys, I want to welcome you all to Movie Files. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of our new videos, especially for the new year to come, because we got a lot of stuff planned for you guys. So with that, Morgan, go ahead and rattle off some. And also, I might say, we haven't seen each other's list, so this is the first time I'm hearing hers, and the same for her. So name off some honorable mentions, some movies that didn't necessarily make your list, but you enjoyed.
Well, I think that you might end up breaking up with me for my honorable for my honorable mentions. Mm-hmm. But for that, I have Infinity War. It did not make my top 10, but I still enjoyed the movie. Mm-hmm. The way I did my top 10 was like rewatchability, things like that, and what made me really feel something. So, but I did enjoy the movie, but just not my top 10. And then Searching was another one that honorable mention that I really did enjoy, that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did. So
I agree. Cool. So number 10, what's
Oh, okay. All right. So for number 10, I have The Incredibles 2. I really, really liked that movie. Yeah. And it was something that there was a lot of anticipation around. 14
years since the first one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was number 10. Number 9 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I did really enjoy that. And I actually I'm kind of picky about my cartoons. I was not one, animated films. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had something on my face. So, and it's still there. Okay. So anyway, I like more Disney movies, superhero movies. I wasn't super excited to see an animation, but I really enjoyed it. So, and it made it over a live action movie, which would be The Avengers. So anyway, that's number 9. Number 8 is Bad Times at the El Royale. Okay. I really liked that movie. Yeah, it had really great talent. Yeah. And also, the music in it.
The score was really good.
The score was really good. The set looked amazing. Yeah. And the suspense. So that is something that I'm looking forward to watching again. Yeah. Number 7 was A Star is Born. And again, it has a lot to do with the talent in the movie and the music. I just thought was incredible. I was really, really impressed with that. And then number 6 is Black Klansman. I really like that. Again, talent was great. And it was just an interesting story.
The story we never heard of, and Spike Lee brought to the big screen.
Yes, Spike Lee killed it. Yeah. Cool.
Well, some really good movies. I like your honorable mentions. I also can stop looking at my list. I also like your 10 through 6 and Infinity War. Didn't make her list. Okay, hey.
Yeah. You know what though, Elliott? Also, just something to point out. I feel like you saw more movies than me this year.
Yeah, your schedule.
Some of the movies that I have a feeling that are going to be on your list, I may have not even seen. Sure. So I'm excited. Yeah. Okay.
So I got a little bit more honorable mentions. I'm a bit, as Morgan just mentioned, I saw a lot of movies this year with extra screeners that we got, and just a lot of stuff that I saw this year. So my honorable mentions a little bit longer. So I'm going to start with Suspiria. It was a movie we saw. Can you stop looking at my list?
That's long.
Suspiria was on my list. I really enjoyed the film. Didn't make it, but I'm excited to check it out when it comes out in a couple months. The Hate You Give, I thought was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Bad Times at the El Royale was a good movie. I'm looking forward to watching it as well, but didn't crack my top 10. First Man, I know you didn't see that, but I really enjoyed that film.
Love the Gosling. Love him.
The soundtrack, the grittiness of the film. I'm excited to see it again, but it didn't make my top 10.
Yeah.
Assassination Nation, I really enjoyed that film.
Oh, that one was really good.
As you had mentioned, Searching was a really good movie. It was so close to my list, but 8th Grade, really good movie. I thought it was this year. It's kind of like Lady Bird, but we have to rewatch it again. But it was a really good movie, but it just didn't make my top 10. But I really like 8th Grade. Bo Burnham's directorial debut was really good. This one was tough. Mission Impossible Fallout. Probably, arguably the best action. You haven't seen it yet, and you're going to watch it with me because you've seen the other previous movies. Mission Impossible Fallout was probably hands down one of the better action movies of this year. Really good story. But I personally like Rogue Nation and It was Rogue Nation Ghost Protocol a little bit better, but it was close. The next one I have, Isle of Dogs. I really enjoyed that.
Yes,
that
I
was
agree.
A really good movie.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, this really was on the close, the tip of my...
I already saw it, and I'm really surprised it didn't make your top 10.
Hereditary. It was 5 out of 5 for me this year. I've yet to rewatch it, but it was one of those movies that I remember the after effect being in the theater. It was a really crazy experience.
Did really like it.
Yeah, but it didn't make my top 10.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, top 10s couldn't change them. But Hereditary was just...
You know what's a little unfair, though, is he told me that I could only do like 2 to 3 max for honorable
I said you could do as many as you want. I said if you
No,
have
you
2 or 3.
didn't.
Anyway, let me jump into my
The
top
lies.
10. Top 10 for me is Ready Player One. This to me was a quintessential fun time at the theater. We saw it with your parents. I believe we saw it in 3D, which was great on Easter.
Yeah.
I talk about rewatchability. I love rewatching that film. It's so much fun. One of my favorite films in the year. And also Steven Spielberg films, one of the greatest of all time. But I just really enjoyed that film. Just the callbacks, the Easter eggs. This is a really good movie. Number 9, which was I believe is your number 10, Incredibles 2. As Morgan had mentioned, the anticipation, 14 years.
I think you were more excited than I was.
Incredibles is still to date my favorite Pixar film.
Yeah.
So I was really excited for it. I thought it landed on all ends. It's one of the better superhero movies of the year, but also just films in general. I really enjoyed Incredibles 2. Number 8, A Quiet Place. We have yet to rewatch it since we saw it in the theater, but out of the movies on this list, there's probably 1 or 2 that had this effect that the movie theater experience kind of enhanced my score of this film. Because literally, you think of our phones and people just being distracting. The whole theater was silent throughout the movie, which is rare. But then just the movie in general, Emily Blunt, being... that scene when she steps on the nail and having the baby in the tub, John Krasinski directing it. The kids were great. It's just a great horror film and a film in general. I can't wait for the sequel next year, but a really good film. So that's my number 8. Number 7, a film that really surprised me, mid-90s. Directorial debut by Jonah Hill. Sonny Solchek was great. I can't think of his first name. I think it's Nolan Smith. I think this was his first movie. Everyone involved was great. Yeah. I really love mid-90s. I cannot wait to own that movie. So that's my number 7. And then my number 6 is the same as you, Black Klansman.
Cool.
Spike Lee at his finest. You got John Washington on the forefront doing a great job as the lead. Adam Driver was great. Great story. Spike Lee did a great job of balancing the seriousness of the film, because there is some really, there's some stuff that we deal with now in 2019, but also the line of comedy. Mixing those two, did a really good job. So those are my 10 through 6. So now, leaving you with
all right, top 5.
5 through 2, and then we'll
5 through 2. Yeah. 5 is Suspiria.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny.
Yes, it's very funny. I like that.
Because when I left the theater, I am such a little cranky bitch after long movies.
She can be. She can be at times.
Yeah, I get really cranky when movies are long. But I sat with it, and I really enjoyed this movie. And I honestly cannot wait to see it again. I am obsessed with witches. I feel like I am a witch, so I just feel like this had to be in my top 5. So
it's a great movie.
It is a great movie. Okay, number 4, Ready Player One.
Cool.
I fucking love that movie. Like, I honestly do. And I know I talk about like, I want to watch it again. Like, we really need to do that.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a few times.
I know you've seen it a few times. Because Elliott we just have, I don't know, different tastes in like what we watch. But anyway, yes, I really loved that movie. It was such a good time. I really, really loved it. Yeah. And then number 3 for me was mid-90s. I just love nostalgia, and I'm a 90s baby. Yeah. So I was never I never skateboarded or skateboarder.
But I think the movie had a lot.
But it was so good, and the cast, they just meshed so well together. I loved that movie. I freaking loved it.
Can't wait to rewatch it. Yeah.
I can't either. And then number 2, Black Panther. Amazing.
It's Wakanda. Yeah.
Amazing. The cast blew me away. Yeah. Michael B. Jordan literally blew it out of the goddamn water. I mean, he was incredible. Incredible. And yeah, I just feel like the movie it was just something so needed in a superhero movie. I just thought it was really cool experience. And also kind of cool to like be able to see a world like untouched and like perfect, you know, Wakanda. So anyway, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that movie.
It's a great movie.
Very great movie.
It might make my list too.
I would hope so.
All right, that's a pretty awesome top 2 through 5, and then we'll guess each other's one. So my number 5, which I recently saw, Roma. Now you talk about Suspiria. When you came out of theater, you had a little bit different feel, but then you thought about it more.
You really loved that movie.
Yeah, so that was how Roma was for me. When I saw it, I was like, okay, a little interesting, but I rewatched it with you, and it's a beautiful film.
It is.
Alfonso Cuarón, the way he wrote it, directed it, the way it looked, the emotion, especially towards the end, the actors in this film were phenomenal. It's just, if you guys haven't checked it out, Roma is definitely a film worth checking out on Netflix. It's really good. My number 4 is actually Black Panther. Very high on my list throughout the year, and then some other films kind of came through, but it still made my top 5. As Morgan had mentioned, Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman. I mean, the whole cast is
amazing.
Great. And I think the biggest thing for me is just thinking of this film 10 years from now. This will go down in history as one of the most important films in filmography. What it did, not only for the Black culture, but just, it's crazy. In the same year, we get Black Panther, we get Crazy Rich Asians, we get a Love Simon. There's so many different movies that came out this year that I think have an impact on culture.
Yeah.
So Black Panther is definitely one of those. And then you take into the fact it's a great movie, and then you take into the fact where it places in the MCU.
Yeah.
So much for it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't deserve to get Best Picture. That's neither here nor there. I think it's a really great film. Ryan Coogler knocked it out of the park, and that's my number 4. Black Panther was great. My number 3 is A Star Is Born. This film really kind of hit me emotionally. As you mentioned, the score, the soundtrack, the chemistry between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, the emotional beats that we get at the end, especially the end, is very.
I am super surprised though that went over Black Panther.
Yeah, I mean, it
is a great movie. I do know you loved it.
Yeah, like I said, Black Panther will always go down as one of my favorite movies. But I mean, just for again thinking of the theatrical experience I have this film, it's just really kind of shook me. In a really good movie, and again, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper were great. Then my number 2, something that we also just recently saw, and one of the 2 films I saw this year twice in the theater. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I absolutely love this film. I was blown away. It's my favorite Spider-Man film in the franchise. Yes, it's above the Sam Raimi, even above the Tom Holland film, Homecoming, which is my number 2 Spider-Man film. I think the thing I love about what they did with Spider-Man is what I love about the character. He's a kid. I mean, even Miles Morales, he's a kid. So I love that he has to fight Kingpin and everything, but he's in high school. He has to deal with grades and proms and girls and things of that nature. So I love that aspect of what they bring to Spider-Man. And I thought this film did everything from seeing an older Spider-Man, seeing a Spider-Man in his prime, seeing Miles Morales brought to the big screen. I know some people are like, oh man, I wish I saw him in live action. We might get to that point, but I'm just glad that he was able to be on the big screen as well as Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen. So I just thought it was just such a fun time in theater. I love the film. It's my favorite animated film of the year, one of my favorites, as you can see, my number 2 of the year. So that's my number 2.
Hi.
And then I'm going to guess before you get to your number 1. So thinking of your list and thinking of the movies we saw this year, I'm thinking of one. I think your number 1 is Life Itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
At me, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, critics ripped this movie apart.
Fuck. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. And the reason it's number 1 for me is, like you said, the emotional experience. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says about, oh, it was emotionally manipulative. That's what every movie's job is to do.
Try to evoke emotion,
Exactly. And there were a lot of parts in this movie that I did personally relate to. So I think that it affected me. It was very personal for me. So I love that movie. I bawled like a fucking baby. And it did its job. I love that movie.
Yeah,
I don't care. I do not care.
If you guys see our review, I mean, I think I gave it like a 3.5. I think you gave it a 5, I believe. But no, I agree. It's
I literally
didn't like it, but I mean that's the point.
And
of
I know this whole emotionally
they emotionally manipulating the audience to feel a certain way.
But it did make me feel a certain way, and it was very comforting for me and therapeutic. I feel for just me personally. So I really enjoyed it, even after the fact. Like I told Ellie, I was like, I can't do a review right away because I was so emotionally affected by it. But it was very cathartic, and I genuinely love that movie. Cannot wait to own it. and cry again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is your top 10, so definitely in the comments below if you have something to say, sure. But that's her number one movie.
I don't care.
That's her number one movie.
Don't care.
It's and I enjoyed it as well. So, Life Itself, your number one, again, a really good top 10. I think when you look at this year, it's a lot of different movies that we got, and some interesting movies. So my number one, let you guess.
Yeah, it's obviously Infinity War.
Yes. Again, guys, I'm not saying this is the best movie of 2018. It has its flaws, but. And I don't have to make an explanation, but for me, this film, when I talk about Black Panther being something benchmark and filmography and people remembering this film, I think in 20, 30, even 10 years from now, when people look at what the MCU has done in these last 10 years, and to have this film incorporate all the films that we got before that and still have a through line to continue to go on for another 10 years, the Russo brothers knocked it out of the park. Sure, we didn't have as many character moments that we wanted or character development. The story is literally, it's just going. Like, you're just from here to here for 2.5 hours. I love the ride. And again, when I had mentioned being at the theater and putting a certain emotion, I know it didn't make your top 10, but that moment, and I won't spoil it if you guys haven't seen it, the biggest movie of the year, but the moment where the people, the Dustin moment.
So emotionally manipulative.
Yeah, that hit me. That shocked me. There were so many moments in the film that shocked me. Thanos is my favorite villain of the MCU. My favorite villain of the year.
It was a
next
great
to
movie.
Killmonger. I just thought he was great.
Yeah.
And this movie, even if, which I highly doubt, but even if Endgame isn't on the same level as this one, Infinity War, which I think it will be, but even if it's not, this movie is still self-contained in a sense, but it also, like I said, when you think of all the other MCU movies, how they would do that. It's my number one. I loved it. So yeah, that's our top 10 list, guys. Infinity War was number one. Life Itself. That's this point. Perfect example. Films are so subjective. What you like, we might not like, vice versa. But again, that's the list. Comment below what movies you guys seen. Give us your top 10 list below, as well as just let us know what movies you enjoyed. Also, we're not going to do a separate video, but I just wanted to, hate to put you on the spot, but there's some films, and we're not going to do a whole video on this, but was there any movies that you just thought were just disappointing or the worst movies? Because I can think of a couple right now. I guess I'll mention some. Netflix, for me, there were some films that we saw. Open House, I don't know if you remember that film we saw.
Oh, that was this year. It's trash.
Terrible. Kissing Booth, I thought was horrendous.
The issue too is like me, I can shut a movie off. After 20, 30 minutes, even an hour, I don't care. I don't need to know how it ends. The thing that I can't stand about this one, he has to finish it, no matter how terrible it is. And then I just stopped watching it. Kissing Booth was my idea, to be fair. But I don't even think I finished it. Like, I wasn't paying attention. That's for sure.
I'm trying to think of some other bigger movies. I didn't like The Predator too much. Oh, Wrinkle in Time. I would say that's a disappointment. Again, I like that they brought the cast together. Duvey directed it, but it was a disappointment.
It was a disappointment for me too.
Any other films you can think of that, not necessarily worse, but just some disappointing films that you thought were going to be?
I wish you would have told me.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think, but those are some ones I could mention. Again, we're not going to do a whole video on that because I think we did a good job of avoiding the bad ones of the year.
Can I just say, speaking of bad, but I do want to talk just really quick about good TV shows that I enjoyed this year. Just really quick.
I already know.
2 that are just on my brain right now. Yeah. Sabrina, on Netflix. I was show. Like, at the beginning, I was not here for it, but I fucking loved that. And we still haven't watched the Christmas special, which we need to. Yeah. But anyway, I loved it. And then my number one, probably my number one out of everything I've seen this year,
the best horror thing
The Haunting at Hill House.
It was phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Emotionally manipulative. Freaking, I had sleep paralysis.
Yeah, the big
after I saw the
episode,
first sleep paralysis episode, I had it.
I gotta agree. That's up there for me for TV. Daredevil season 3 was really great.
It was good.
Legion season 2. I know you don't watch Legion, but that was great. I mean, we cut the cable.
We cut cable, so it's like Netflix. But I will tell you what, Haunting at Hill House.
Castle Rock wasn't that good.
Oh, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Started off good, but
it kind of fell flat. I think next year we're gonna probably, what you guys are gonna see on this channel this year is, we'll schedule if Morgan can be in it, but I definitely want to do more TV reviews when it comes to Netflix and Hulu. Disney, we want to get that by the end of the year, so that'll be some stuff that we'll do some reviews on.
Stranger Things will be out.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones, it's a big year.
So we're gonna do some more TV stuff. Of course, we're gonna continue to do the movie reviews and do our unboxing, trailer reaction. I want to get Morgan in on a trailer reaction one of these days. But guys, I just want to, Morgan and I both want to thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. everyone out there. Thank you guys for supporting our channel. We love doing this when we get the opportunity. I love when Morgan can join in. She has a super busy schedule of work, so I love when she's on it. So hopefully we can get more of her on the channel more. But we really appreciate all the likes, the shares, everyone that subscribed to our channel, that follow us on all of our social media accounts. We really appreciate that, guys. Keep an eye out for some content coming pretty soon. We have our most anticipated films of 2019. And then we also got some other reviews coming up pretty soon for you guys. So there you have it, our top 10 list. The movies we liked, the movies we love, stuff that we didn't like. So definitely comment below, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys in 2019. And we'll see you in the next video.